The South China Sea as a global flashpoint. Geopolitical significance. The South China Sea is not just another patch of ocean, it is the jugular vein of global commerce and strategic dominance. With between $3.40 to $5.30 trillion in trade flowing through annually, this maritime corridor carries over one-third of global shipping traffic. Additionally, 12% of the world's fish catch originates from these waters, making it a lifeline for food security across Asia-Pacific. Whoever controls the South China Sea controls the arteries of global trade. Robert Kaplan, geopolitical analyst. Beneath these waters lies immense untapped wealth, an estimated 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Combined with vast fisheries that help feed over 3.7 billion people, the South China Sea is a geopolitical prize with high stakes. Recent escalation. Tensions have boiled over in recent years. In 2024 alone, more than 50 incidents were recorded between Chinese and Philippine vessels. These weren't mere misunderstandings, they involved high-powered lasers, water cannons, and intentional ramming. This is the face of China's gray zone warfare, a strategy of coercion without open combat, using its coast guard and maritime militia to assert dominance while avoiding a formal declaration of war. Reports cite up to 300 militia vessels simultaneously swarming disputed zones. The world is taking notice. The US, Japan, Australia, and the EU have all increased their diplomatic and military presence in the region. What happens in the South China Sea affects the entire world. Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State. The roots of the conflict: historical claims, economic interests, and legal discrepancies. Historical claims. At the heart of China's assertiveness is the Nine-Dash Line, first appearing in 1947. It claims nearly 90% of the South China Sea, rooted in ancient Chinese fishing activity allegedly dating back to the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE, 220 CE. Yet other nations contest these claims. Vietnam argues historic control over the Paracel Islands since the 17th century. The Philippines leans on UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, asserting sovereign rights over areas within its 200 nautical mile EEZ. The modern dispute crystallized post-World War II with the 1947 Nine-Dash Line, based on alleged historical fishing rights. Dr. Jorge's World. Economic imperatives. Control of this region isn't just about maps, it's about survival. China's plans for a $1 billion deep-sea research station aim to extract gas hydrates, potentially revolutionizing its energy future. Fisheries remain a cornerstone, 50 million people depend on them across Southeast Asia. The Philippine fishing industry alone loses over $400 million annually due to Chinese interference. Legal discrepancies. The 1982 UNCLOS Treaty, which China signed, defines maritime entitlements like EEZs. But China disputes UNCLOS where it conflicts with its historic claims. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, ruled in favor of the Philippines, declaring China's claims without legal basis. The 2016 arbitration ruling clearly rejected China's excessive maritime claims through international law. Perry World House, University of Pennsylvania. China's reaction? It dismissed the ruling as null and void, continuing to assert control and challenge the international rules-based order. Rising tensions, recent clashes and their impact. Philippine-China confrontations. From 2023 to 2024, weekly confrontations became the norm. Incidents included water cannons blasting Filipino boats, ramming of supply vessels, deployment of high-powered lasers blinding Filipino crew members. Key hotspots like Scarborough Shoal and Second Thomas Shoal have seen China deploy metal spikes and floating barriers, effectively cutting off access. Any armed attack on Philippine forces triggers our mutual obligations. U.S. Department of Defense, 2024 MDT Statement. This declaration underscores the potential for a broader conflict under the U.S. Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty. Chinese militarization and regional response. China has transformed 7 reefs into militarized bases, including Fiery Cross, Subi, and Mischief reefs, complete with runways, radar installations, and missile systems. Its navy now boasts over 360 ships, surpassing the US Navy in sheer numbers, and fields the world's largest coast guard with over 130 large patrol vessels. The world has responded. The US conducts freedom of navigation patrols. Balikat in 2024 saw 14,000 US and Philippine troops train together. Japan, Australia, and the UK are stepping up joint patrols. Is war inevitable? Assessing the risk of escalation. Destabilizing factors. Tensions rise partly because of perceptions. China sees US alignment with ASEAN nations as provocative. 48.2% of ASEAN citizens now rank Chinese aggression as their top security concern. Despite ongoing talks,